Hey guys, Oddfather here. Um, so I'm kind of bummed right now. Uh, as you know, Cosworth was running good. Everything was seemingly going good and great, but recently developed a new issue, and I have suspicions that it's the piston rings. Um, Whether or not they seated properly, or I potentially blew them out from, I guess, overexerting the engine. I don't know. Uh, What the issue is that at hot idle, we're now getting what looks like white smoke, blue smoke. It's kind of hard to tell. It's very light colored and only at idle, and a decent poof when you leave a stop sign or take off from a light. I did a compression test. It wasn't great. Um, I would expect with 10-to-1 pistons and a fresh build, I should be at 150, 170, 100, probably close to 200 psi in each cylinder. Um, After a hot drive, cylinder 1 was at 120, cylinder 2 was at like 105, and cylinders 3 and 4 were at 125 psi. Um, that's that's terrible. That's not good. My little bone stock chevette probably has 150 psi right now with 140 some thousand miles on it. Um, so I'm gonna have to start digging in, doing a couple more tests, and seeing if we can isolate what the issue is. It only seems to be the front two cylinders that are the most effective. The plugs on cylinders 3 and 4 look clean. They have a good burn. There's no evidence of excessive oil, but cylinders 1 and 2 definitely show either a running rich condition or burning oil. So unfortunately, it looks like we're going to do some more diagnosis, and then there's a good potential this engine has to come out and be re-ringed and investigated. So let's get started. Well, that's super depressing. First cylinder, which I saw some initial kind of scoring going on, Nothing heavy. I can feel a little bit on the passenger side or intake side of the cylinder. It has some that you can feel with the fingernail. Cylinder number 4, which had the better of the compression, has the same thing, just a very light, barely felt with the fingernail intake side. And sorry about the lighting, it's pretty sunny out here and my camera's having a hard time. Cylinder number 3 feels great. Nothing, not even a hiccup. And then of course cylinder number 2 with the big old rip your fingernail off catcher on there. Still have no idea whatsoever what could have caused that gigantic gouge. I don't even see a ring gap over there, moving my piston to the side and kind of following the shininess of the ring. I don't even see a gap over there. It's kind of hard to tell, so I guess we won't know until I finish pulling the block and get it up on the stand and roll it over and break it down. But man, how depressing. And everything else looks fine. I haven't seen anything else on the top end that really says, hey, you fudged up. Head gasket shows nice positive seal around all cylinders, water jacket side and combustion side. No concerns about head gasket have been the issue. That's an expensive piece of copper and gasket material sitting there at $250 or whatever it is for the damn head gasket, so that's always nice. Alright, well, the hard part's over. Engine's out of the car. We got it here on the stand. And we're going to start breaking down the bottom end, pull the pistons out, see if we can identify why we're all gouged up. Let me see here. Where are you at, you dirty little gouge? Yeah. Let me see. Oh, yeah, there you are. God, look at that. What the hell, man? This is why we can't have nice things. But, anywho, let's get started. I still have no clue why that would have done that. Yeah, she's going to be a little bit more stubborn than I thought. Alright, there. Unless it was the oil control ring. With how long that damn scratch is, I would say the oil control ring was the culprit. Interesting find. So on the skirt of the piston, I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get it to focus on it. Okay, there we go. On the skirt of the piston, there is a corresponding gouge, and in the middle of that is some sort of a foreign object. What the hell that is, I have no idea. I'm going to try to pick it out. I want to see if it's, well, obviously I'm thinking it's steel, or it could be deposits from the cylinder onto the aluminum piston from hitting there. It's oddly close to this oil control ring right here. but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's got hooks or gouges, and you don't see any wear or damage on the oil control ring, so I'm not thinking that was the cause. I believe this ring was also in that general vicinity, but I don't see anything on that ring either. Well, we'll just have to clean everything up, and then I guess check everything thoroughly, make sure everything's still good, clean the gasket surfaces, prep the block, clean the pickup tube, blow the block oil passages out, do everything I did before, but just do it all over again, you know, because I've got money to spare. And yeah, I guess we'll be taking it back in to maybe have a sleeve replaced. The other 3 cylinders look fine. I don't see anything that says I need to be replaced. Just a good honing, I think, and probably get that replaced and see what happens. Alright, so after tearing down this engine and looking at what we've got going on, the best idea that I can come up with is that either one, I left something in the top of the engine while I was assembling it, and it was in between the piston and the wall, or 2, something got pulled into the carburetors, made it into that cylinder, and found its way in between the piston and the cylinder wall, eventually wearing enough of a groove to slip past the rings and eventually make its way down past all 3 sets, and eventually getting wedged in the skirt of the piston. Now, as terrible as all this is, at least from doing this, I can make a good assumption that 1, it wasn't the rings that caused the problem with that particular cylinder, and 2, I have at least a smoking gun to say that whatever that was, whether it was a piece of metal or a rock, is 100% the damage causer in this case. Yeah. So I'm gonna finish breaking the engine down and try to decide what we're gonna do from here. The other bores look okay. I'm gonna take the ball hone, try to hone them, and see if anything that's in there that's left over, I can just clean it up. And as long as nothing looks too terrible, I may or may not decide to take the damn block back in and have them replace that sleeve again, if they're willing to take it on and if it's possible. I'm sure it is, but it just gets harder and harder the more you do that. So in the event that I can't get it done, it's going to be a lot of digging around, researching, and trying to find a piston set, and probably overbore the block 10 or 20 thousandths, whatever it takes to get rid of that damage. And then we can put it back together and try for round 2. I guess if anything, it was a lesson that trumpets look really cool, but if it was in fact because I had no filters and it sucked up some debris, rock, whatever that was, and it ate it, that's on me. I can't blame anybody but me. It's just dumb. But I love trumpets. I want to hear them sing, but I guess I got to put a stupid filter stack over it or something just to make sure and eliminate that. I do a lot of back roads driving, and pulling off the side of a rural road, I'm sure there's a lot of gravel kicked up, and I guess there is a big potential that this failure is 100% my fault. I'm not going to believe it though. I'm just going to pretend that it was a piece of steel, it fell and magically made its way in there and it had nothing to do with me. We all know that's not correct, but you live and you learn. Anyway, I'm going to get cleaned up. It's been a long day. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Odd Father out.